Today is Saturday, April 18th, 2026. The time is 7:04 p.m. Eastern. Welcome to Geopolitical Updates from AGI Era. The vital shipping lanes of the Strait of Hormuz are once again shut down, following reported attacks on vessels in the crucial waterway. Iran has attributed this closure to a U.S. blockade, asserting that the American actions violate the terms of a recent ceasefire between the two nations. This development reignites profound concerns about global energy security and maritime freedom in a region already fraught with tension. Turning our attention to Eastern Europe, at least 6 individuals lost their lives in Kyiv today, after a gunman initiated a shooting and subsequently took hostages inside a local supermarket. Officials report that the assailant was killed following a direct confrontation with police forces. This isolated incident has sent shockwaves through the Ukrainian capital, highlighting persistent security vulnerabilities even amidst broader geopolitical challenges. In a separate development in the Middle East, a French peacekeeper serving in southern Lebanon was killed. President Macron has publicly assigned blame for the attack to Hezbollah, although the Iran-backed armed group has vehemently denied any connection to the incident. This tragic loss underscores the volatile security environment in the border region, even as a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is currently in effect. Moving to international diplomacy and migration, the Democratic Republic of Congo has accepted its initial group of deportees from the U.S. Congolese government officials emphasize that these individuals, expelled from the United States, are only present in the country on a temporary basis. This event marks a significant point in bilateral relations concerning immigration policies and raises questions about long-term integration strategies. Meanwhile, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has dismissed claims of a diplomatic crisis with Spain. Her denial comes after a period of heightened rhetoric stemming from historical grievances related to Spanish colonization, which had emerged as a sensitive topic between the two countries. Sheinbaum's remarks seek to de-escalate tensions and maintain diplomatic normalcy. Across the Atlantic, a significant political transition is underway in Hungary. The era of Prime Minister Viktor Orbán appears to have concluded abruptly, with Péter Magyar and his Tisza party securing a dramatic landslide victory. Magyar is reportedly moving swiftly to prepare for the transfer of power, signaling a potential new direction for Hungarian domestic and foreign policy. Finally, in the realm of emerging technology, the White House held what's described as a productive meeting with Anthropic, an artificial intelligence firm. The discussions occurred amid growing anxieties surrounding Anthropic's advanced Mythos AI model. This engagement suggests that the U.S. government considers the company's technological advancements too critical to operate without close oversight and collaboration, particularly as regulatory frameworks for artificial intelligence continue to evolve. The sudden closure of the Strait of Hormuz, as announced by Iran, carries substantial economic and strategic weight, far exceeding the initial reports of vessel attacks. While the BBC's reporting points to Iran blaming a U.S. blockade for the shutdown, implying a breach of a recent ceasefire, the nuanced implications extend deeply into global trade and regional stability. The Strait of Hormuz is a choke point through which roughly 20% of the world's petroleum and a significant portion of its liquefied natural gas pass. Any disruption here immediately translates into surging energy prices worldwide, impacting economies from Europe to Asia. For the U.S. and its allies, maintaining open passage is not just about oil, it's about upholding the principle of freedom of navigation and projecting naval power. The Iranian claim of a U.S. blockade could be interpreted as a rhetorical maneuver to justify their actions and garner international sympathy, particularly from nations dependent on the smooth flow of energy through the strait. From Iran's perspective, controlling or disrupting this strait provides significant leverage in any negotiation, especially concerning sanctions or broader regional security agreements. If the U.S. presence is indeed a blockade, as Tehran suggests, it represents a direct challenge to their sovereignty and access to international waters, even if the international community views such a presence as a deterrent against Iranian aggression. The timing of this closure, following a ceasefire, suggests that either the terms of that agreement are being reinterpreted or that underlying strategic disagreements were never fully resolved. The so what here is multifaceted. Economically, prolonged closure or instability will force oil tankers to take much longer, more expensive routes around the Arabian Peninsula, driving up shipping costs and increasing insurance premiums. This burden will ultimately fall on consumers globally, fueling inflation and potentially triggering economic slowdowns. Strategically, this move fundamentally alters the balance of power in the Gulf. It tests the resolve of international naval forces, particularly the U.S. Fifth Fleet, to keep the strait open. It also signals a potential shift in Iran's willingness to escalate tensions, perhaps believing they have greater impunity under the current geopolitical climate. Furthermore, this incident could destabilize broader diplomatic efforts to de-escalate regional conflicts. The ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran, which was fragile to begin with, now appears severely strained. The attacks on ships and the subsequent closure could be a calculated move by elements within Iran seeking to undermine moderate factions or to send a strong message to Washington that their demands are not being met. The long-term consequences include a potential for increased militarization of the strait, more frequent naval exercises, and a heightened risk of miscalculation leading to broader conflict. Countries like China and India, heavily reliant on Gulf oil, will be watching closely, potentially increasing their diplomatic pressure on both Tehran and Washington to de-escalate. Today's top stories saw the critical Strait of Hormuz closed by Iran, who cited a U.S. blockade, while a fatal shooting unfolded in Kyiv. For your watch list tomorrow, monitor the immediate reactions from global energy markets to the Strait of Hormuz closure, specifically looking for sustained price increases in crude oil and natural gas futures. Additionally, keep an eye on any official statements from the UN Security Council or major maritime organizations regarding freedom of navigation through the strait.